let's get started. Sachin, thank you for taking the time today. I know you have a busy schedule with your new role. So I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us about your experience and really share with us about the program. So just to get us started, would you tell us a little bit about you, the
Absolutely.
brief career snapshot?
Absolutely. And thank you, Sam, for having me here. Let me talk about my career before I started IJS. I've been a product manager at Citibank for 8+ years, and I've been with the bank for more than 10 years. I was doing a lot of great work and very interesting work. I've even launched credit cards in the US, and that was kind of my product management job at Citibank. Before Citibank, in the first few years of Citibank job, I was also working as an analytics manager. So that was kind of my initial role at Citibank, which then I transitioned into product management when I came to US 8 years ago. Before Citibank, I was working with a management consulting firm for a year and a half, and that's it. That's my 12.5 years of total experience.
Good, thank you. And if you remember going way back before we met each other, what did your average week look like for you in your job search? What did it look like before we crossed paths?
Terrible, because before that, I had no idea, no guidance. I've been working with Citibank for more than 10 years. So I had never changed jobs in a long time. I've changed jobs internally, but external job changing is a very different experience altogether. And I remember from my college days, I'm an undergrad from one of the top colleges in India, and we had these sessions which actually guides you through the whole process. So you kind of know what's coming. I knew the value of all that guidance. And when I started thinking of job change here in US, I had no idea. I don't know how the whole ecosystem works. In India, a lot of recruiter calls you. I didn't even know if that happens here, what I need to do that. How do I put myself into their radar? I had no idea about that. So what I did is I changed my LinkedIn option to open to job, which is only visible to recruiters. And I created my resume. I didn't even know if the way I created my resume was right, was wrong, but I just created my resume. So I have started getting calls, but not amazing calls. Those were not the kind of companies I would want to go to. So then that was one thing. Second is then at one point of time, I just thought that I'll apply through LinkedIn. And then I started looking through LinkedIn, and you have to fill massive forms, and it doesn't end up anywhere. And so then I only applied to quick, easy apply, and those are the shittier jobs. So my God, it was not amazing. And I've applied to more than, let's say, 30, 40 jobs, and then I got one call. And that interview went well, but then they said, this is a different kind of job. So what you have done is not very much aligned. So probably I was not talking their language.
Got it.
So
what were you finding challenging or frustrating at that time that made you look for a program like ours?
I think my biggest challenge was I had no idea. So the guidance, I didn't. So how much hit and try I'm gonna do was in my mind. So at every point of time, I was just questioning myself: is my resume right? Is the way I am applying right? Am I reaching to the right people? I think that was my biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how you found us? Or,
Yes, I don't. My wife did. She saw an ad of Shobit, and she transferred it to me, and she said, "Why don't you at least speak with the person?" I was very apprehensive. I was very hesitant because
what hesitations did you have?
I didn't know that if this person can actually get me to what I'm looking for, because he was talking about making you a good product manager. And I believed that I'm an amazing product manager. What is there for me to learn? But then I still, my wife pushed me to it. And I spoke with Shobit. And Shobit, I looked through his credentials as well. And then when I spoke with him, I asked him thousands of questions. And he kind of came through with answering all of them very genuinely. And I think that was my point. When I kind of believed the person, I believe that he's invested in me, and that's why I just thought of taking it a shot, and that's how I joined it.
Mhm. Got it. So now fast forwarding a little bit. So you've joined the program. Do you remember any kind of early aha moments as we dove into our work together?
Many. I think first thing is clarity that I already mentioned. Shobit and you have very explicitly said, with numbers or with statistics, that if you apply to so many jobs, you should get so many responses, and you should get so many of interviews, and there's how your flow funnel should look like. That was very helpful. And if anything is not happening there, that means there's something I'm doing wrong, and you are there to help me. Another thing is, Shobit also mentioned about mindsets. What is a recruiter mindset? What is an interviewer mindset? What are the things that you need to hit? And not necessarily about work, but the way you come across. I think those few things were very helpful, and I loved it. And I started incorporate. It's not easy to incorporate, but I think at that point of time, I had very strong belief that you guys will help me take through my whole journey and kind of embed it in me. So I think those were the first few aha moments, but there were so many other things which were way beyond it and amazing.
Got it. So tell us a story about landing your new gig, and how did the IJS program training help you there?
So I think one of the biggest challenges which I had initially was managing time between practicing and working with IJS, and then managing home, and I had a toddler, and then I have to do my full-time job as well. Was that one challenge? Because when I joined the program, I initially thought that it'll be a quick, like 2 months thing, but it generally takes a little bit longer because you have to practice, and you have the very specific kind of job. I was very selective in the kind of job that I want to get into. So it took me some time, but I think.
And you had a very demanding job, just for folks, like how much time, like where it was your, how much time was your current role taking, in addition to
my current role at Citibank was very, very demanding. I think,
or the former role rather. Yeah. Yep.
was taking at least 50, 60, 50 hours, full 50 hours, meaning in a week. Sometimes when people say that they are doing 40 hours job, that means, they're not, that they are taking a lot of breaks and a lot of other things. But I'm talking about 50 full hours, meaning, back-to-back meetings. I did not even have time to have lunch. So it was very demanding. And then I had a toddler, and my wife works on the West Coast side. So she had different hours. I have to manage those toddler when my wife is busy in her meetings. So it was pretty challenging. But I think there as well, you guys have kind of helped very significantly in managing your work, and kind of putting it the right mindset, and how to kind of change your work schedule so that you can still be able to manage IJS work.
Got it. Okay. And then how did you continue to prepare once you found the time for this current role?
So I think there were different stages in the whole IJS program. The first stage was kind of putting your LinkedIn right, putting your resume right, building your stories, thinking about very deep and very detailed stories of what you have done, how you have done, to a very granular stage. That was kind of one thing that creates your basics. Then on top of it, it's practice, practice, and practice. So you have amazing coach who take interviews, and then they give you very detailed, specific feedback, which is extremely helpful. So, that was kind of another phase. And then once you go through a few of them, and once you consistently start getting higher or strong higher rating, then you start applying, and then you start applying, you start getting real interviews, and those real interviews are also different, and you get thousands of questions. So then, you know, I used to reach out to you guys to understand a lot of things. There were so many things that got much more clear in my mind when I went into a real interview, and I was much more confident because I've kind of went through a similar process, and eventually it turned out very positive because I've applied to 6 jobs. I got interviews for 4, and I've converted out of those 4. I had 3 job offers,
Wow.
which is great. I initially did not even think that, I'm just starting out, and I won't even, these were not my very high target companies. These were the companies I'm happy to go to, but not top companies. So I just went through it. But I think the program has built me so strong that I could get 3 offers from these, which I was not expecting. I was kind of taking it as mock initially,
Interesting.
but it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah. And how did you ultimately how did you think about the opportunity with regards to your career goals? Like,
it hits the majority of the goals that I initially set. I wanted the job in the tech world, a very tech oriented job, and this company is Twilio, where I'm working, is a very tech focused company, tech and product focused company. That was one. Another was I wanted to move out of Citibank into tech world, and that was kind of one of the biggest thing. Second is my comp raise was pretty significant as well. So that was second amazing thing. Third is I wanted the right manager, because that your manager is key in your role. And I think I've spoken with the manager multiple times before accepting the offer, and my manager kind of gave me a good overview of what I will be doing and what my focus area would be for first 2 years. And that kind of was set there. So at that point of time, I kind of decided. I was very impressed by the whole experience, whole interview experience at Twilio's, and it turned out to be amazing.
awesome. How would you describe the program? I mean, in your own words, we have our website. We try to put forward the message, but like, how would you explain what IGS is?
I would think it to be, when in colleges, there's this placement department which helps you a lot in landing a job. IGS is similar to that, but much, much, much more invested in you and much more one-to-one connection. So, they kind of help you with your resume and other things, which you guys do as well. But then there are these one-to-one mock interviews that help significantly. I think that is the best thing that your program has. It's one person sitting with you every week for 30 minutes or an hour, taking your interview, which is very similar to the real interview, very similar questions. I've been asked the same questions in a few of these interviews. So I think that process is robust, and I love that. I think that is something that constantly elevates you. I think that's one of the biggest things. Second thing is constant coaching. So if you have any questions, you can just reach out and you would get an answer. Be it negotiation, be it, is this the right offer for me, or even does this job looks right for me? Even to that extent, I think it also depends from person to person. I used to reach out to you guys a lot. I don't know if people are doing it less, but I would encourage anybody who joins IGS to kind of reach out and ask for even a very small question that pops your mind, instead of Googling so much and not getting the right kind of answer. You guys are the coach. You have seen that whole experience with so many people. Asking questions is kind of one of the most basic things that you should do so that you understand. But those 2 things, basically interview practice, mock interviews, and another is that coaching, that
Mhm.
answering questions and all of that stuff are the two best stuffs that your program has. And
Nice.
nothing is automated. I think it is all human. There's another
Mhm.
person spending time with you, real time. I think that's the most valuable. You can't do it through automation or videos and just all that. These
Mhm.
real human interaction are the best and most important.
That's awesome. Who would you, based on your experience, feel like the program is perfect for, and why would you say that?
I think so. In the program, I have seen people who were students from college who have no product experience and landing job in product. I have seen people, and not just one or two, many. I've also seen people who have been from a very different background, let's say data science or something else, and landing a job in product management. I have seen people who has been product management and landed like really good product management jobs, significantly better than what they are doing. I think it is very much geared towards product management. So if anybody has any sort of inspiration of getting into product management, or anybody who's already a product manager but wants to go to the next level, I think there's a program for that. It has a lot of elements that is applicable to other sides of the um, jobs,
Mhm.
but I think it is more geared towards product management.
Got it. Uh, and then, kind of wrapping things up, what impact would you say the course has had on your life?
I think this course has changed few things, which goes for life. I think it has helped me better communicate my own stories. It has made me much more confident in general in life. Um, I think there are so many principles that I've learned here, which it's not just for this job search. It is in general in life, both personal and professional. And I'm very confident that next time when I change jobs, I know what to do, what to look for, what are the key areas to focus on, and what to enhance. And I can kind of now work towards my next job starting today. Let's say if I plan to change my job 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line, there are a few elements that I can just start working to from now, which will help me at that point of time much more significantly. So no, it is not that the skill sets that I've learned here are are will gonna stay with me till the end of my life, and I think
Mhm.
it will be very helpful in multiple different ways.
Awesome. Anything else you'd love to share?
Let me think if I missed anything. I think one point which I didn't mention, that you guys teach how to brag yourself, which a lot of people hesitant to do.
Hmm.
People have accomplished so much in their life. They just are not vocal about it. They don't speak about it as much. And it's not that you're good at something or you have done something amazing, but bragging has a very specific art. You can't just brag yourself, right? It can come across douchey. So I think you guys have taught us how to brag more politely, more subtly, but putting across your point right. I think that's another big thing, which I don't know how many people value, but it is extremely important in personal and professional life. So I think that's another thing. But there are so many amazing things that I've learned in the program, which makes it well worth it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Wishing you best of luck in your new role at Twilio, and look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thanks a lot.